What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Reptastic Adventures. I am now in my garage, or my Reptile building. It is a 4-car garage with 2 doors, so I could stack 4 cars in. It's longer, obviously, than it is wide, and it is filled with reptiles. I know some of you guys have seen the entire building on other people's channels, like Camp Kennan, but I wanted to just take a little bit of time to show you the system I have set up for grow outs, and also some smaller turtles that don't get too big and can actually be in here all the time in small groups. So I have small waterland tubs, and then I have other tubs here that are actually, they're tortoise tubs, but I converted them so they could be for babies. I wanted the water to be real shallow. But I have a variety of species that are in here, with some of the larger ones on this end, and then the babies on that end. And actually the babies are turtles that I pretty much keep in there for their first year of life, maybe even a little bit longer. So they might be in other tubs with other babies that I use in the center island of the building for a period of time, maybe 4 or 5 months, and then they go into this section for about another year before they go outside. So my goal is to get these turtles to be 3 to 4 inches before I put them outside in ponds and different streams and the enclosures with the larger ones, just because I don't want them to stress them out and basically attack them, or maybe even eat them, because we do see larger turtles eating their offspring as babies in there, which is why we take them out and bring them in. Okay, so real quick, I have a system set up here. So I got this PVC that runs along the top, and I have these different valves, and these valves, you can turn them, right? And you can adjust the water pressure. So I could turn this way and bring it down to pretty much nothing. But that doesn't really do a whole lot for me, or these turtles rather. So I want to have a decent water flow. But the whole tank, the holding tank is down there. So it pumps the water all the way up. So the farthest one here needs to be open all the way. And then this one gets partially closed. This one gets a little bit more closed as it gets closer down to the actual tank, or where the pump is. But the only problem is, what people don't realize, is the one in the middle, that one drains the least. So that one has to be closed the most. It's very strange how the water flows down. There's drains underneath, and it flows down into the tank. So these ones right here, right? These ones are closed the most than the ones that are closer to the pump, just because this drain here, it doesn't drain well. The water will fill up and it'll overflow the land area, which, as you can see, already happened over there. Now, once in a while that happens out of my control, just because a little bit of food gets clogged in around these drains, or strainers rather. And the strainers are here to prevent smaller turtles from going in, as well as their food. I want them to consume as much food as possible and just not have it be wasted and go down into the tank. But just to go over a few turtles that are in here, I have various species. Here is the Maracaibo, also known as Rhinoclemys diatomata. This is a female, not quite of egg-laying size, but you may have seen her in my reels because she has a heart on her head. How cute is that? So she has been posted on Valentine's Day, and she is a neat little turtle that I have raised from a hatchling. There are, I think, 6, there's 5 or 6 in here, and they are growing really well. I'm hoping to get some more as we go. I have Sri Lankan pond turtles, the Thermalis, and the Hyosemis grandis, which this is a giant Asian pond turtle, which is still young yet. But as they get larger, they will go in with the adults. This is a young female. They're probably both young females. This one has to get a lot larger before you can tell the sex, but that's incubated female. I have some Panshura smithi, which is an Indian tent turtle, brown roof turtle. How cool is that? Very neat looking. They actually stay small. This is a male, so it's not going to get that much larger. And then here's a female, which the females get larger. Males are only like 5 inches. They stay small. But it's a very cool, unique species. I have some more of those in there. But moving down the line, guys, I have some Cohelan box turtles. These are some young ones. I believe there are definitely 3 females, maybe 1 male. It's either 1 male, 3 females, or 4 females total. But they're growing well. And the one thing that really just doesn't, I guess, and more along the lines that just pisses me off. These species, you can't put the females in with the male too long. The males will drown the females. It will kill them. They are very aggressive, so I have to keep them separate. So I don't really put them together that often. If I do, it's only for like a day or two, and then I pull them out, just because the stress alone is a lot for these turtles. And it could be the reason why in the wild their numbers are low. I mean, obviously, you have habitat protection, you got predation, you have all kinds of, just habitat destruction and people that are encroaching in their environment and harming the wilderness and the survival of these turtles. But I think that could also have something to do with it, where some of the females in the wild are drowning from the males. So let alone, it takes maybe 5-6 years for these turtles in captivity to get to size to egg laying, and more, a lot longer in the wild, maybe 7-8 years. Cohelan box turtles are considered endangered in the wild. They're one of my favorite species, which is why I have them. And you can actually keep them outside year-round in New Jersey in a greenhouse-like setting, like I've done with my Moremis japonica and my 3-stripe mud turtles. But I just have these guys inside right now. I got some more down there, but that's something that I've done in the past. So I just wanted to share that for you guys that may have interest in keeping yours outside year-round. If you live in Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, they'll be fine. All right, so here I got some juvenile albino red ears, which are pretty common now these days. Everybody breeds them. There's just so many of them going around. But these guys are probably 6 months old, so you can see how fast they grow. They're pushing 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches in 6 months. They're eating like weeds. Now, albino red ears are partially blind, and you can see by the way they attack their food. It's like they don't even see it, but they smell it, and they bite and miss, bite and miss, bite and miss, and then finally they get one. So to think that one grows so fast, they got to spend a lot of their time eating, because they miss most of the time. But check that out. That's a little guy, albino red-eared slider. We got more down here. Except we got caramels. Caramel sliders are cool. I love the dark eyes and the pink skin. It's definitely a fascinating looking turtle. But this one here is only about 3 months old, and almost, I'd say, about half the size of the other ones. The caramels are a little bit more expensive than albinos. I guess not as many are being produced, obviously. Moving down the line here. Oh, before I forget, I have a dehumidifier here, okay, which cleans the air, removes the humidity, and that is a problem when you have a lot of area surface water in an enclosed building, because the humidity gets high and you're going to get condensation buildup on your garage doors, your windows, even behind the walls, something you can't see, but you get the insulation, and that's where mold grows. So you want to make sure you prevent that from happening. So if you have any kind of system like this, make sure you have a few dehumidifiers. In this building alone, I have 4. I have them separated pretty much almost on 4 corners to help reduce the humidity in here and keep that down. I think that's very ideal that you guys put that into consideration when you're putting together a setup for all your turtles in the indoors, just to make sure you prevent any long-term headaches with having to, renovate your building. So that's something to keep in mind. I have it continuously running. So this hose is continuously running into here, which goes down into the watering, the tank down here, which pumps the water. So you're just pretty much recycling the water from the air back into the water, and you keep the humidity down. So moving along, I have some, so here are some juvenile blandings that I'm holding back, and I always hold back baby turtles every year, pretty much every species that I have outside. It might be 5, might be 8, might be 10, whatever it is. And I do that just because once in a while you might lose one, an adult outside that you may have had for 20 years. I've had a box turtle, for instance, in the years back that swallowed or had, I basically saw it spazzing out, and a yellow jacket came out of its mouth, and it literally died within an hour, and the turtle was completely healthy. So I don't know, I guess it had some bees that stung it in the throat, it must have swelled up, I don't know what happened, but you know, that's something that happens. You have, you know, nature takes place when you have your animals outside to some degree. So, you know, every once in a while you lose one, and you gotta, you know, keep the group going and keep the population that you have and the breeding project going. So I have some Blandings. Now, Blandings turtles take a longer period of time to mature. These are, believe it or not, from last year, and you can see these are last year, and they're about 2.5 inches, maybe a tad bit larger, and this one is from the year before. This one is about 3.5 inches. So you can see the difference in size here. And this one's a little lighter in color, but these are young ones that I plan on keeping inside probably for a few years of their life, where some of the other turtles are only inside for 1.5 years and then they're out the door. But these guys will probably be inside for 3 years, so I'm gonna get them to 6-7 inches before I put them outside with the other ones and let them continue to breed it out. Look, here we got, all right, here's a 3-stripe, a young 3-stripe. We got a Kwangtung river turtle. We got a Japanese pond turtle. Look at this, 3-stripe mud turtle. That is a young 2-incher, less than a year old. Here we got, now mud turtles seem to grow slower than all the other turtles. This is the Japanese pond turtle, Moremis japonica, which I have the pond outside. This one has a nipped tail. And the Kwangtung river turtle, which is always good for smelling terrible. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's like they pass gas every time that you pick them up. They smell terrible. But this is a young one too. I got my adults outside, which Kwangtung river turtles from China, they can stay outside year round here in New Jersey as well. So they're outside, the japonicas are outside breeding. And over here we got some other species. We have European pond turtles. Now this European pond turtle was born last year, I believe. This one's sitting at over 2.5 inches and growing. Everything pretty much with a nip tail I feel like I have to keep. I do sell babies, and obviously this whole project costs a lot of money. So you want to help fund that by selling some of the offspring that you produce with your animals so you can keep your projects going. It gets very expensive, especially with the electric bill. I know the electric bill here is pushing $2,500 a lot of the time per month, which is crazy. Even with a lot of stuff I have outside, but you got pond pumps, filters, dehumidifiers, heat lamps, it goes on and on. So the European pond turtle, Emys ovicularis, there's a European pond turtle pond outside, and I try and incubate males and females, so I do temp sex them, and I keep them up until a little bit larger than this, and then what they do is like, they'll go in a spotted turtle pond, because the spotted turtle pond it's all small turtles. And then once it gets to about 5 inches, a little bit larger than a spotted turtle, I'll take it out and put it in the European pond turtle pond. Now there's really no problem with mixing different species together. Some people are like, oh, why do you keep this and that together? If they're captive bred, it doesn't matter. As long as they're not wild caught imports, if you get an imported animal, you want to keep that separate from all the other ones, just because you don't know what they might be carrying. Some of them have worms, some of them have parasites, whatever it is. So you want to just make sure that you take precaution with that and not go too far with pushing your limits. So every time we get animals that come in that are imported, they get put aside and separated. We can't mix them with other species, even if they're long term. Even if I had them for like 2 years, I won't put them with another species. I try and keep them all only captive bred. So just keep that in mind. So European pond turtles, I got some other albinos, and more Kwangtungs, I think. Oh, this is a southern painted turtle. Now, this one also has a nip tail. So again, nip tail turtles, I don't sell. I just hold them back. They can still breed. Look at that beautiful little red line going down there. Now I have some larger southern painteds that are outside in the pond and they can stay outside year round in New Jersey with I actually keep them with my, again, captive bred Chinese yellow pond turtles, Moramis mutica, and they do just fine. So this is a system that I have set up just on the back wall, this room to help raise babies that I keep. I don't sell these, I hold them back. There's another area in the room that I have, which you will see later, with the baby turtles that I raise and will sell online. But I want to show you this underneath. This is the holding tank, the pipe, the drains go all the way down, and they go down into this holding tank right here. And then there's a pump that pumps it right back up. So there's filter pads in here, so the water goes down through that. And then there's another tub inside this tub that has holes in it, and it has like some media in there and some stones to help kind of filter everything, and the water gets pushed on through. It gets cleaned out about every 10 days, but I think that's a good system to have instead of having to rinse these tubs out every single day. To have this pump going and you only have to do it every 10 days, that's a win for me. But if you're interested in like setting something up in the building that you have or your garage, this is very easy to do. You can just get some bulkheads, use a drill bit, pop the holes in, connect the drains with some silicone, and set up the PVC pump. It's pretty easy to do, guys. So let me know what you think. I think obviously I'm always looking for more ideas if there's other ways to be more efficient and get what I want done quicker and to make it safer. But I think this is a pretty cool setup. I have a lot of people tell me that that it seems legit and it's a good way to do it, and I haven't really had any problems. I've had this set up here for 10 years now, the way it is. So obviously the tubs are a little bit dirty on the side and stuff from over the years, but yeah, I mean I've even produced baby turtles in some here. In some of these tubs, I've had baby turtles, eggs that were laid in the egg laying area pop out, and we're swimming around in here, and they just hatch naturally. So that's cool too. So the land area, one thing I do is I like to keep that moist, but if you do have turtles lay eggs in your waterland tubs, I would take the eggs out just because you don't want another turtle to go and dig there in that same spot, another female to lay more eggs, and then ruin the ones that are already maybe halfway through incubation or just laid, and you just kind of don't want to waste those eggs. So, but let me know what you think, guys, in the comments. Hope you like my system. Have any questions, let me know. And, you know, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.